Good afternoon, everyone. We are here to present about the Bonifacio and Katipunan. By the way, I'm Jessel Untalan. So, let's talk about the Bonifacio and Katipunan on 1892 to 1896. The Katipunan flags, aside from the secret codes, Bonifacio also wanted a flag to be used by the members as a symbol of their unity. With the help of his wife, Gregoria de Jesus, a flag was made. De Jesus devised a simple red flag bearing the society's acronym for KKK in white and arranged horizontally at the center. It became the society's first flag. Some Katipunan members use other variations. One variation has the 3K arranged in the form of a triangle. Some others use a red flag with only 1K. Then, let's talk about the Katipunan officially, known as the Kataas-Taasan, Kagalang-Galangang Katipunan ng mga Anak ng Bayan, was a Philippine revolutionary society founded by anti-Spanish colonialism. Filipinos in Manila in 1892. Its primary goals was to gain independence from Spain through a revolution, flag of Magdalo faction, Marcelo H. Del Pilar. Root and La Solidaridad is the last remedy, especially when the people have acquired the belief that peaceful means to secure the remedies for evils prove futile. Insurrection. So, what is the meaning of insurrection? Means a violence of uprising against an authority or a government. The founding of Katipunan on July 7, 1892, the newspapers published the news about the arrest of Rizal of the previous night and the governor general's order to banish him to Dapitan upon learning that Dr. Joseph F. Rizal was to be deported and that his works were to be banned in the country. A secret council was convened in number 72 Azcaraga Street. Patriotic Filipinos meet at a house on Azcaraga. Then, in Recto Avenue, in attendance were Andres Bonifacio, Diodato Arellano, Valentin Diaz, Teodoro Flata, Ladislao Diwa, Jose Dizon, and a few others, all members of La Liga Filipina, a progressive organization founded by Rizal. The men assembled came to the agreement that a revolutionary secret society must be founded, and thus, the Kataas-Taasang Kagalang-Galangang ng Katipunan ng mga Anak ng Bayan was born. The twin souls of the Katipunan, Andres Bonifacio and Emilio Jacinto. So, Andres Bonifacio and Emilio Jacinto, it is the founder. Andres Bonifacio was born on November 30, 1863 in Azcaraga, St. near Manila Railroad Station. His parents, Santiago Bonifacio and Catalina de Castro, belong to the lower middle class. Has three brothers, Seriaco, Procopio, and Trodoyo. Has two sisters, Esperanzona and Maxima. He sold canes and paper fans in his early years. He worked as a messenger of J.M. Fleming and Corporation, an English trading firm, and later as an agent of the German. Bonifacio warmed up to him and a deep friendship developed between the two. Then greatly influenced the Katipunan, he wrote in Tagalog, the language of the masses, except one poem in Spanish, Ame Fratra the Country. Jacinto believed that the people, the masses, could be reached only through their own language, so they both wrote in Tagalog. It is for this reason that Bonifacio and Jacinto succeeded in uniting the people behind them. At night, he read newspapers and books, which were all written in Spanish. He taught himself to read and write in this language, and in time, he became literate in Spanish. He felt sad and angry when Rizal executed on December 30, 1896, because Great Filipino was executed. Bonifacio was anti-Friar and anti-Spanish to him. They were all the same: greedy, immoral, cruel, and his lazy. His poems in Tagalog is Tapunan ng Lingap and Ang Mga Casadrones Attack the Spaniards Furiously. He called the Spaniards white cattle. His poem, Huling Hikbi ng Pilipinas, oftenly called for independence from colonial rule. Then Bonifacio found a twin soul in the Katipunan, the younger and intelligent Emilio Jacinto. Born in Tondo, Manila on December 15, 1875, Jacinto lived a hard life when he was young. Like Bonifacio, his father died early, which compelled his mother to send him to his uncle's house for support. He first studied at San Juan de Letran and later transferred to the University of Santo Tomas, where he studied law at Eden. Jacinto joined at the Katipunan, leaving his studies. He also wrote Artilya, Liwanag at Dilim, Pahayag sa Mga Kababayan, and others. Bonifacio assigned him to lead the rebels in Laguna. He died in Mahayhay, Laguna on April 6, 1899 at the young age of 24. This is the picture of Andres Bonifacio and also the picture of the Katipunan flags and also the Gregorio de Jesus and also the Katipunan teachings language. So that's why that Bonifacio and Emilio Jacinto, they called the twin souls of the Katipunan. They both believed that the time had come to change strategy and tactics. Filipinos were physically maltreated in public places and unjustly ordered to be executed or banished to faraway places. While the government was spending millions of pesos for the army and navy, the amount being spent for public improvement was pitifully small. Bonifacio loved Jacinto because he was a serious-minded and also humble, intelligent, and industrious. So he heard of the Katipunan and immediately joined it, leaving his studies at 18. He read Spanish newspapers and books. He first studied at San Juan de Letran and later transferred to the University of Santo Tomas, where he studied law. He also lived a hard life when he was young, like Bonifacio. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Karil Osorio and I am presenting the aims and the structure of the Katipunan and its government. So by the end of my presentation, I am expecting everyone to understand the aims and the objectives of the Katipunan and the Katipunan government. So first, let's discuss about the aims or the objectives of the Katipunan. So, Andres Bonifacio laid down three fundamental objectives of the Katipunan. They advocated for freedom from the yoke of Spain and to be achieved on armed struggle. First one is the civic. It is based on the principle of self-help and the defense of the weak and the poor. So, this goal is about defending the oppressed, punishing the oppressor, and helping others. Like for example, all members were urged to come to the aid of the sick comrades and their families, and in case of death, the society itself was to pay for the funeral expenses. So the second one is the political objective. It consisted in working for the separation of the Philippines from Spain after declaring the country's independence. To attain this objective, they have to develop a strong alliance with each and every Katipunero. They have to unite Filipinos into one solid nation, and they need to do an armed conflict or what we call the revolution. The last one is the moral objective, and it revolves around the teaching of good manners, hygiene, good morals, and attacking obscurantism or the opposition of the increase and spread of knowledge, religious fanaticism, or a pejorative designation used to indicate uncritical zeal or obsessive enthusiasm which is related to one's own or one's group and the weakness of character. Let's talk about the governmental structure of Katipunan, the Katipunan government. So, the Katipunan had three governing bodies: the Kataas-Taasang Sanggunian or Supreme Council, the Sangguniang Bayan or the Provincial Council, and the Sangguniang Balangay or the Popular Council. So when we say Supreme Council, it was the highest governing body of the KKK, and it was formed around August year 1892. So a month after the founding of the society, and also headed by what we called a Supremo. So respectively, today, they were the equivalent of the central government, the provincial government, and the municipal government. So Judicial Council, or what we call the Sangguniang Hukuman, is a sort of a court where judicial matters affecting the members of the society were referred. And Katipunan Assembly was composed of the members of the Supreme Council and the presidents of the Provincial Council. The Secret Chamber, which are composed of Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto, and Pio Valenzuela. And the last one is the chamber sentence members who exposed the secrets of Katipunan. So, within the society functioned a secret chamber called Camara Reina, which was presided over by Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto, and Pio Valenzuela. So, this mysterious chamber passed judgment upon those who had betrayed their oath, and those accused of certain offenses were penalized by the Katipunan law. So, death sentences were usually handed down in the form of a cup with a serpent curled around it. So, supposedly, 5 Katipuneros met their ignominious end inside the dreaded chamber.
Good day everyone, I am Marjorie G. Robles and I am here to discuss about the Katipunan elections. The elected officer of the First Supreme Council were the following: Diosdado Arellano, President or Supremo; Andres Bonifacio, Comptroller; Ladislao Diwa, Fiscal; Teodoro Plata, Secretary; Valentin Diaz as Treasurer. The officers in the Second Supreme Council were as follows: Roman Basa, Supremo; Andres Bonifacio, Fiscal; Jose Toriano Santiago, Secretary; Vicente Molina, Treasurer. And the elected councilor were Bricisio Brigado Pantas, Restituto Javier, Teodoro Plata, Teodoro Gonzalez, and Ladislao Diwa. There are 3 membership levels within the Katipunan. The first grade is Katipon. They wore a black hood with a triangle of white ribbons during the meetings of the society. The letters A, L, I, and B were inscribed inside the white ribbons, and they were the Katipunan letter codes, which stood for Anak ng Bayan, the password of Katipon. The second grade is Kawal. The member of the second grade was called Kawal. They wore a green hood with a triangle of white lines during the meeting of the society. The password for a Kawal was Gumburza, the first syllables of the name of the 3 Filipino martyrs, Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora. The third grade is Bayani. A member of a third grade was called Bayani and wore a red mask and sash with the green borders. The password for a Bayani was Rizal. who was the most influential person of the propaganda movement during this period in the Philippine history.
A pleasant afternoon to all of you. My name is Grisel Rapalda and I am going to report about the Katipunan flags and Katipunan alphabet. In Katipunan alphabet, in order to make their society a secret and to avoid being caught in the Spanish authorities, Aguinaldo devised a system of writing, which is the Katipunan Code or Katipunan Sistile writing. Aguinaldo substituted the letters of Spanish. So as you can see in the illustration, the first and third column is the Spanish alphabet and the second and fourth, it is the equivalent in the Katipunan. For example, in Spanish, alphabet is letter A and I, but in the Katipunan code, it is letter Z and R. They used this so that they didn't cut. So know the different kinds of Katipunan flags. The first KKK flag stands for Kataas-Taasang Kagalang-Galangang Katipunan ng Mga Anak ng Bayan, or in English, the highest and most honorable society of the Sons of Nation in 1892. With the establishment of the Katipunan, Andres Bonifacio requested his wife Gregoria de Jesus and with the help of Benita Rodriguez to create a flag for the society's acronym. KKK in white and arranged horizontally at the center of a rectangular piece of red cloth, locally called kundiman. The color red represents the blood and courage of the Katipuneros who stood ready to fight for freedom and shed their blood if need be. This was the flag which was developed during the first city of nationhood at the District of North Manila in August 1896. This was the first official flag of the society. Let's proceed on to the second flag based on the illustration. In some areas, only white letter K was positioned on the rectangular piece of red cloth. All versions had a red background to denote the revolutionary character of the Katipunan. And the third flag on the illustration, it had 3 Ks arranged in an equilateral triangle. The next one is the flag of the Magdalo faction. The flag was used in Cavite by Emilio Aguinaldo. He used a flag similar to Magdiwang factions, featuring a white sun with a baybaying consonantal ka. The sun initially had an indefinite number of rays and was later standardized to 8 rays to represent the 8 provinces that the Spanish colonial authorities under martial law, and the provinces are Manila, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Bulacan, Pampanga, Bataan, and Nueva Ecija. Let's move on the flag of the Magdiwang faction. The flag was used in Cavite by Mariano Alvarez. The flag consists of red banner with a white sun with the baybaying consonantal ka. The K at the center. The consonantal ka stands for Katipunan. Let's proceed to the next flag. This flag was the first official revision. The flag was revised and also declared as the official flag of the Philippines government and its forces in the NAI Cavites Assembly on March 17, 1897. That's all for the Katipunan alphabet and Katipunan's flag. Thank you po! Decalogue of the Duties of the Sons of the People. The Decalogue only contained 10 points and was primarily concerned with one's responsibilities to God, country, family, neighbor, the Katipunan, and himself. Andres Bonifacio, the father of the Philippine Revolution and former president of the Supreme Council of the Katipunan, published the obligations of the Sons of the People sometime in 1896. A list of duties and responsibilities that every member of the organization must faithfully observe. Bonifacio's impassioned ideas were represented in the rules which form a decalogue. Bonifacio would subsequently accept Emilio Jacinto's cartilla
as the official doctrines of the Katipunan, owing to his respect for Jacinto's writing flair. The Cartilla was developed to expose new recruits to the ideas and values that should guide every member of the organization, similar to the Decalogue. In honor of Andres Bonifacios sesquicentennial, the Presidential Museum and Library is sharing Bonifacios' Decalogue, a reminder of the nation's innate solidarity and of our people's strength. But who was it written for? The Cartilla was designed primarily for Katipuneros. Members were required to read the Cartilla and follow its code of conduct when they joined the Katipunan. The early Katipuneros believed that changing people's minds and actions was the most essential thing they could do to improve the Philippines, and that is the only way to do it.
Good day everyone. In accordance with the completion at the course Reading in Philippine History, here I am tackling about the teachings of Katipunan. Criterion ng Katipunan teachings are moral and intellectual foundation for guiding Katipuneros, and expressing morality is essential for joining the secret society, meaning to say, this secret society has its own guideline. People or Katipuneros are not well equipped physically, but also they were equipped moral and intellectually to be a Katipunero. These guidelines help them to practice moralities and love to other people. They influence people's thoughts on coordinating their action and words while observing values and crucial principles. Also, Katipuneros are built to coordinate their actions toward their words while observing values and principles. At this juncture, let's proceed at the 10 teachings of Katipunan. Number 1, love God with all your heart. Meaning to say, as part of the Katipunan, or being a Katipunero, you have to priority that the God must always be loved. Number 2, bear always in mind that the love of God is also love for the country. And this too is love one's fellow man. Once you know how to love God, it would reflect to love to your country as well as to your fellow men. Number 3, engrave in your heart that the true measures of honor and happiness is to die for the freedom of your country. Meaning to say, as a Katipunero, you have always to inculcate on your mind that loving your country is also risking your life. Number 4, all your good wishes will be crowned with success if you have serenity, constancy, reason, and faith on your acts and effort. Meaning to say, serenity, constancy, reasons are major characteristics that you have to obtain to meet the success you are looking for. Number 5, guard and mandates aims for the KKK as to guard your honor. Mandating to God your duty is also mandating to God to guard your honor. Number 6, it is the duty of all to defend at the risk of their own lives. Well, anyone who runs great risk in the performance of his duty. As a Katipunero, it is always your duty to remain on fighting once you are at risk, especially when yourself, your wealth, and your family is at risk of trouble. Number 7, our responsibility to ourselves and the performance of our duties will be the example for our fellow men to follow. As a common person, and for the Katipunan, if you have the qualities of being morally and value presented person, there is a possibility that your fellow men shall obtain what characteristics do you have. Number 8, insofar as it is within your power, share your means with the poor and the unfortunate. As a Katipunero, it is your duty to share everything what you have, especially to the poor and to the unfortunate. Number 9, diligence in the work that gives sustenance to you is the true basis of love. Love for your own self, for your wife and children, and for your brothers and countrymen. Meaning to say, your effort of works will reflect to be loved by yourself, by your fellow man, and by your family. And also, the most important, the love of your country. Number 10, punish any scoundrel and traitors, and praise all good work. Believe likewise that the aims of the KKK are God-given, for the will of the people is also the will of God. Those who those who are traitors shall be punished. As a common person and as a common country, being a Katipunero is also being self-centered, being strictly well-being person as a Katipunero. The aim of the KKK are God-given, meaning to say, we shall always priority the God itself, and we should always think that what God's believe will be also believed by the Katipuneros. That's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Christine M. Sawali, and I am here to present Cartilia. The Cartilia was about the 13 lessons that serve as the Katipuneros' guide in living with moral and good values. I believe that this Cartilia ng Katipunan show the path on how to live meaningful life for every Filipino. Each lesson is unique in such a way that it tackles different aspects of person's life. It is appropriate to have a better understanding or explanation. The first highlight the significance of living life with a purpose. A Katipunero who does not have a purpose lives is a useless life. This actually defines what life is. Life is a gift given to everyone that must be treasured by making it meaningful through setting up goals and achieving it no matter how hard. The second rule is about doing what is right. A deed carried out for the sake of fame is not worthy of praise. There are certain things in life that would make others proud because of you, but sometimes it's done just to be popular. Everyone must bear in mind that doing good must be accompanied with humbleness. A deed that is done must be because of what someone really feels like doing to help other people. The third shows what the true meaning of kindness. True act of kindness for a Katipunero is in the love and service he rendered to other people and not the other way round. It only means that having an open hand to give help without expecting in return is one of the best examples to show an act kindness. In number 4, it highlights equality among people. Every Katipuneros are treated equally, no matter what race or educational background he has. His status and identity will never be the reason for an equal treatment of people, whether they are Filipinos or not, rich or poor, men or women, and white or black. Nobody deserves to be discriminated. Number 5, it shows what honor should mean for a Katipunero. A true Katipunero values honor more than his personal interest. In number 6, it is about doing the walk, the talk. Concept or putting into action the words that has been promised. A Katipunero who has a sense of shame must be a man of his word. In number 7, the rules give importance to how we manage our time and give our best like tomorrow ends. Because Time is precious as gold. A Katipunero must give importance to time. For the Katipunan, a time lost will never be back. The eighth lesson simply tell everyone to fight for what is right and fight with the person who is at the right side. A Katipunero must protect the weak and fight for those who oppress the weak. In number 9, it is about the significance of trust that everyone must know how to keep confidential things in order to keep trust that other people give. A Katipunero is careful what he says and keeps the things that must be kept secret. In number 10, the principle is all about being able to lead the family. A Katipunero must lead his family to the right path. If the leader is consumed by evil, so does his follower. Let's proceed to number 11. It highlights everything a man must look at woman's identity. A Katipunero must give importance for woman. He must not see her as an object, nor pastime. That whatever a Katipunero sees a woman, he will remember his mother, who nurtured him. In number 12, gives importance to every action that one has to make. A Katipunero must not do the things that he does not want to be done by him. The last rule is about one's knowledge on how to have a right character in dealing with life. A Katipunero life is not measured by what his status in life, nor with the things he possesses. Instead, it is in his character and his love for the native land. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Ray Rizaldi Pereye, and I am your next presenter. But before we start our discussion, I would like you to take a look at this picture and tell something about it or what the picture is. So the picture that I showed to you are related to our next topic, which are the women of Katipunan and the Kalayaan. So let's talk about first the women of Katipunan. Have you ever heard the quote, "Behind every man's success is a woman"? So this quote is related to our topic, wherein we are going to find out what was the contribution of the women to the Katipunan, or do women have a role in Katipunan? Upon answering the question, at first, women are not allowed to join the Katipunan because men kept the Katipunan as a secret. They sneak out if they had a meeting. Eventually, the women, especially their wives, got suspicious, like, "Honey, why do you home late?" or "Where have you been?" Would say, the Carabao got stuck in the river." So they make lies and excuses. And the women are like, "Are you cheating on me? Or do you have a side chick? Or are you having an affair?" Something like that. So men would say no. And then when they had the meeting, Katipuneros had the meeting, they talk about it and they say that we needed to do something about it because our wives or women really think that we are doing funny businesses. And then they said that, okay, let the women join. So now, when the women joined the Katipunan, of course, they were not going with men. Like, women, we cannot allow you to join the military trainings or the violence. You will have a special role. The main job of the women was to make sure that the documents or the messages will remain secret. For example, they delivered messages or documents from their barangay to another barangay. So how did they do that? So usually they tied the documents around their legs and they wear the baro and saya, because before, you remember, the baro and saya are long and a little puffy. So women, when they go to another barangay, and if there will be Guardia Civil, like, "Oh lady, where are you going?" And then women would say, "Oh, nothing, guard, we're just going to another barangay just to visit our friend." Like that. So when they arrive, they remove the documents under their skirts, which was quite smart, right? So that was the value of women. Another thing that women usually did in the Katipunan was when they were having a meeting at the basement, the women were having a small gathering upstairs. They were singing, dancing, and having fun. And when a Guardia Civil came and asked, "Do you have a gathering here?" And then women would say, "Oh, nothing, guard. We're just having a small party. Do you want some cookie?" Guard will think, "Oh, very nice girls, very innocent. They would not skim." And then they will say, "Go, have some fun. Have fun." So then, men were very happy that the women were there because the girls create diversion. And actually, they had very good transporting abilities. Okay? So now, women who joined the Katipunan were only limited to the wives, daughter, or close relatives of the Katipuneros. So among the women initiated were Josefa Rizal and Gregoria de Jesus. So Josefa Rizal, from the name itself, obviously, is the sister of Dr. Jose Rizal, who was elected as the president of the women's sector of the KKK. While Gregoria de Jesus was the lakambini ng Katipunan, which is actually the girlfriend of Andres Bonifacio. And eventually, they got married. But when she joined the Katipunan, they were still girlfriend and boyfriend. Sana all, diba? Hashtag couple goals. Anyway, her main job was to secure all the important documents of the Katipunan. And she was the vice president of the group. Another two women who joined them are Marina Dizon and Angelica Lopez Rizal, which are niece of Jose Rizal. They act as a secretary and fiscal. They provided orientation for the new members about the Constitution and the trainings of the Katipunan. So class, our history has shown the Filipino women to be tenacious and to have a strong will power. Although there were many obstacles in their path, their sheer determination enabled them to achieve their longing for freedom and arriving them to go on fighting, not only for their husband or for their families, but also for their beloved country. So, after our discussion, we can say that women have a special role, or they have contribution to our the Katipuneros, or to our revolution. So we should also remember their actions or their participation during the revolution. Do you understand? So let's talk about now the Kalayaan. So the Kalayaan was the official newspaper of the Katipunan. So the Katipuneros decided to make a newspaper to encourage and inspire more people to join them and take up arms against their colonial masters and to get the independence and freedom of our country. In 1895, the Katipunan bought an old hand press. So hand press is the machine that is used for the publication of the newspaper. So they bought it with the money donated by their compatriots from Aklan who won from a lottery. The name Kalayaan was suggested by Dr. Pio Valenzuela, which was agreed both by Andres Bonifacio and Emilio Jacinto. So even though Valenzuela was chosen to be the editor of the newspaper, they all decided to use the name Marcelo H. del Pilar as its editor. So they also decided to carry a false masthead stating that it was printed in Yokohama, Japan. As from Valenzuela, Jacinto, and Bonifacio, there were two printers who helped them to publish the Kalayaan. They are Faustino Duque, a student from Colegio de San Juan de Letran, and Ulpiano Fernandez, a part-time printers at El Comercio de Manila. When Valenzuela was appointed as the Physician General of the Katipunan, he dropped his obligation as the editor and passed it to Emilio Jacinto. So Jacinto took over all the responsibility to finish the newspaper. The first issue contained a supposed editorial work done by Del Pilar, which in fact was done by Emilio Jacinto himself. It also includes Bonifacio's Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa, Valenzuela's Katuwiran, and several works that expose Spanish abuses and promoting patriotism. On March 1896, the first copy was issued dated as January 18, 1896, wherein 2,000 copies of newspaper have been distributed around the Manila provinces, including the southern Luzon. Surprised by its success, Jacinto decided to make or print a second issue that would contain nothing but only his work. But on August 1896, when the second issue was prepared, Spanish authorities began to search about these anti-government activities. So they received lead that authorities will raid the place where Kalayaan was printed. So the printers, Duque and Fernandez, had to destroy the incriminating molds and escape. Therefore, Spanish authorities never found any evidences about the Kalayaan. So, class, the distribution of the Kalayaan immediately influenced the thinking and feeling of the people. So, the Kalayaan had a great contribution to the Katipunan. The people become aware of their rights and duties to their country, and imagine from the founding of the society, it did not have more than 300 members. But since the appearance of the Kalayaan, the membership had increased to around 30,000.